We'll see if it has a flip potential. We'll actually be putting an offer on this particular house.
You will be able to take out almost $200,000 from this house. Now, option one as an investor is that you flip the property in 3 months. Instead of flipping the property, we actually keep it, but we just refinance that. Then there'll be renovations, which is about $100,000.
फिर यहाँ से you do a dip down.
तो ये भी एक खर्चा होगा.
तो skylight बना सकते हैं यहाँ पे.
So those are the areas I would definitely recommend. And
An average life expectancy of any furnace is around 15 years. So you need to consider the fact that you're paying the electrician.
I think this is an excellent way of house hacking your first home.
So today we are in Kitchener and the video will be outside because we are searching for our next investment property, and this time we'll be doing it very different. You can see the house behind us. We are in Southdale area. So what we are doing is right now I am being accompanied by Orko and Parth, who are our realtor partners, and what we'll do is we'll look at this house, we'll see if it has a flip potential, or if it has a burr potential. I'll talk about the numbers for both first time home buyers and investors, and if you like this house, we'll actually be putting an offer on this particular house. So let's see how the video goes. I'm super excited, and let's go and see the house inside. So we are at the unit right now, and this is 50 by 122. So 50 feet is the front and 122 is the width. It's a pretty big lot. It's kind of a ravine lot. The only, I don't know if it's a problem or not, and we'll ask these gentlemen here who know this, but there's a church right besides this. I don't think it's a problem. What do you think when selling?
I don't think it would be. While selling, it shouldn't be a problem. There are a lot of people who actually like staying right next to church because it's a serene, peaceful environment. Rabdakar also. So yeah, it shouldn't be a problem at all.
So the only thing that we need to take care of is cemetery, right? So a lot of people don't like living close to a cemetery, but this church doesn't come with a cemetery. So that's a good one. How do you think is the area, Parth?
so in terms of area, I would say when you're looking to invest or flip, always try to go for a B or B plus neighborhood rather than going for a A or A plus neighborhood, because the very first thing is the pricing. You need a ROI basically as an investor. So those are the areas I would definitely recommend, and do check with your local realtor what are the areas they do recommend for B and B plus neighborhoods. And this one we are it's B to B plus neighborhood, so that's what we are looking for.
So this particular house has 3 bedrooms, 1 on the main floor and 2 bedrooms upstairs. Now you can see that the kitchen is not an open concept, which is very common in old houses, and we will change that if we get this house. The wall that you see on the left of the kitchen goes down, and we get 1 big living room and open concept kitchen with fancy dining area. The flooring is pretty old and will change too.
This one, wooden flooring, people like it. Refurbished, this is absolutely needs to go. But wooden flooring, people do like it.
And this is also hardwood.
Yeah, this is hardwood. Yeah, this is hardwood.
So on the upstairs unit, we need to make a new kitchen, upgrade the bath, new flooring, brand new paint. We also need new ducting for the 2 bedrooms upstairs and some work on the stairs that go up. That's almost $30,000 to $35,000 worth of work.
Shingles दिख रहे हैं
Shingles के नीचे ही है.
Yeah.
Insulation I don't think will be much वो यहाँ पे. तो skylight बना सकते हैं यहाँ पे.
Sure. That is where you want to get a skylight made, no? 100%.
Basement is a whole new story. The ceilings look low, but you only need about 6.5 feet to make it legal.
So looking at furnace dates, on average life expectancy of any furnace is around 15 years, give or take. So always check the age of the furnace, AC, just to ensure that you're bracing for extra friction. So a good way to look about this is to kind of go into the furnace, and you would almost always have a sticker, and the city always does a pressure check, and it should tell you cub where it was done first. So that was installed in 2002. It's 24, so 22 years, absolutely at the end of the life. So वही वो बोल रहे हैं, these are fuses, but even then this is absolutely obsolete.
So from fuse to circuit breaker, 100 amperes, $2,000 to $2,500 if you get the cheapest guy. But I always recommend my clients is 3,500 is a good bulb.
Because then because we also need to consider the fact that you're paying the electrician, all that stuff. And it is a one-day job with a licensed electrician. Need to get in touch with the city to switch out the power to the house. Get in touch with an ESA inspector who would come and inspect if the work is done properly, and then tells the city to switch the power back on. So yeah.
And one thing to add, make sure whenever you purchase this kind of property, it will take about a month or two to get the permit, because you need to have a bill on your name and then only you can apply for, I mean, to go to the city and ask to change it. So ऐसा नहीं है कि लेके next day you can do it. Yeah. So check with the city.
It needs a separate entrance, which is a little bit complicated, so it will require about $10,000 to $12,000 of work. But overall, it's a large enough basement to make a 2-bedroom separate unit. A lot of people look at properties with finished basements and ready duplexes. Everyone wants it, and investors tend to overpay for it. Ready duplexes are really good investment for first-time home buyers, but not a great deal as an investor. This house is a typical example of a duplex conversion, which means it's currently a single family home, but we can get permits and build a second unit downstairs to make it a duplex.
ये वाला हटाओ, ये वाला deck हटा के फिर यहाँ से you do a dig down to go on down.
So basically what's happening is that there is a basement, but the entrance is not separate. So we have to dig the basement down from the backyard. And there is this structure and there's cement here. So we have to see where to dig.
नहीं तो साइड से कर सकते हैं.
हाँ sir.
It has enough space. Okay. The fencing goes from here. Well, yeah, it is actually right. It is actually
It
kept.
could be because it's like a little bit slanted,
Like,
so
yeah, it's
not
okay.
sure. It might be a pie shape.
So goes in like this. So it opens up. Yeah, you are right.
So the other thing is that the shingles of the house need changing because it's pretty bad. तो ये भी एक खर्चा होगा.
Now let's look at the numbers on this particular property as an investor as well as first-time home buyer. So I have 2 slides on investors, one on first-time home buyers, and I'll try to explain it very, very slowly because it can get complicated. So let's say you were able to purchase this home for a purchase price of $500,000. Now I've taken this home as an example, but this could actually work on multiple homes. And in fact, this could work, not just in Kitchen-Waterloo, but it can work in London, it can work in Windsor, it can work in Calgary. So these numbers are pretty much, it'll work anywhere because it's like a project that you're working on. So let's assume that this house we purchased for $500,000. The down payment on this one will be 20%, which is $100,000. So that's what we intended to do. The closing cost, if you're in Ontario, will be about $20,000, including, lawyer fees, everything. I've taken a little bit more than, what it would be for most people. But because I'm self-employed, I'll probably go with an alternate lending, here I'll pay 1% lender fee and stuff like that. So I've taken $20,000. It could be a lot lower if you are a first-time investor and if you are employed full-time. Then there'll be renovations, which is about $100,000. So we talked about the upstairs unit, which is already there, but we still need to spend about $35,000 on the upstairs unit, and the downstairs will cost us about $60,000 to $70,000 depending on how much work is required, in the ceiling, because the ceiling height was a little bit lower, so we need to change, the ceiling a little bit in some places. But there could be some homes where that is not a problem, and therefore you will probably save about $10,000. But we have taken about $100,000 of renovations cost here. Total upfront will be about $220,000. Sorry, I'm looking at the screen, so bear with me a little because I just want to make sure that the numbers are very clear. So total upfront will be about $220,000. I come to the holding cost as well because you'll obviously be renovating this unit, and there would be mortgage that you are paying till the time the unit is ready to flip or to put it on rent. So the mortgage payment comes to about 2,634. I have done these numbers at 7% interest rate, 30-year amortization. I'm just assuming that you do not have enough credit. We are doing alternate lending, so I'm doing very extreme numbers here. I'm sure that a lot of you will have a lot better numbers when it comes to getting the mortgage. So yeah, just taking conservative numbers here. Tax plus insurance is about $350. So there'll be property tax that you need to pay. Insurance, because it's an older house, there could be a little bit higher. So $350 there. Then holding cost of 3 months. This basically means that for 3 months, the unit is being renovated. So you can't rent it out or you cannot flip the house. And therefore you just need to hold the mortgage. So 2,634 multiplied by 3 is, less than $10,000, but I've still taken 10,000. Again, we are doing very, very conservative estimates. And the total upfront will be about $230,000 here. Now, option 1 as an investor is that you flip the property in 3 months, and it's not very difficult to sell, in the neighborhood that this house is in. And most neighborhoods that we are doing with our clients, we just make sure that they are really good neighborhoods so that selling is not a problem, after we have completed the project. Now, the sale price for a similar unit is at least $770,000. It looks bizarre, but we'll make it very nice, and that's why the $100,000 of renovations is coming through. So the sale price in a similar place is about $770,000 net of sales, which basically means your realtor fee, your lawyer fee, your because you're taking a mortgage. So there'll be a penalty to break the mortgage because you're flipping the house, so you'll have to pay off the mortgage early. All that, let's say, is 5% of $770,000. So you will be left with about $736,500. The outstanding mortgage on this particular house was $400,000, of course, because we took a $400,000 loan. So after paying all that, the gross proceeds will come to about $336,500, which is a return of 46% on the money that we invested, $230,000 in just 3 months. Now it looks like a lower number. So if you subtract $336,000 to 230, it's about $100,000. But that is for a lot of people their annual salaries. And because we are doing this, you can do it in your personal name as well, depending on your income. But if you do this in your incorporation, you can actually attract a much lower tax rates. But that also means, and when people come to me and say, oh, I want to do it in the incorporation, that also means that there's accounting cost, there's setting up the incorporation, which is also an expense. Plus, you do attract a little bit higher interest rates. That's the reason why I've taken 7% interest rates when you do it in the corporation. So just make sure that you account for all that. That's where the numbers were done, a little bit more conservatively. But you make about $100,000 in this particular property if you are able to get this at the price at $500,000. So this is pretty sweet. But there's a second option that we can actually go for as an investor. Instead of flipping the property, we actually keep it, but we just refinance that. So BRRRR basically means that you buy. So we have bought it at $500,000. We renovate, which is $100,000 of budget. We rent it out and we refinance, and then we repeat it, right? So I'll explain how that happens. So now that we have renovated the unit, now we need to put it on rent. Now a typical rent in this particular neighborhood is about $2,650 for the upstairs, because now it's a pretty nice looking upstairs unit with new paint, new flooring, new kitchen, bathroom, everything is new. So $2,650 is the least that we can get in this neighborhood. And $1,850 is the basement, because it's a 2-bedroom basement. It's a brand new basement that we are building. So $1,850 is a typical rent that you can get. So now that we have renovated the unit, we are getting rents, but that also means that the new value of the house is a lot higher. So let's say we go to the bank and they say that, yes, now the house, looking at the other comparables which are similar in the neighborhood, it's $770,000. So what you can ask the bank is, now I want a 80% loan against $770,000. And that would be 80% of 770, which is $616,000. Now what happens is, because the outstanding loan originally was $400,000, you can actually take out 616 minus $400,000 minus any penalties that you have of breaking the mortgage, but you will be able to take out almost $200,000 from this house. And because this money is debt, you are not taxed on it. And that's the beauty of BRRRRs. You can actually take out money tax-free because you're taking on more debt. But let's look at the cash flow numbers a little bit as well. The mortgage payments will be close to $3,600. Again, I've taken a 7% interest rate. So I'm taking conservative numbers again. The tax plus insurance will be about $400. I've taken a little bit more on in the insurance this time because you obviously have one more unit. Here I took $350 when we only had one unit and the basement was unfinished. Now I have taken $400. We are also, updating the electrical panels. So that would reduce the insurance a little, but let's just take $400 for now. So the cash flow, because $4,500 is the rent and overall expense will be about $4,000. The cash flow would be $4,500 minus $4,000, which is $500. I'm obviously not including maintenance. If you want a property manager, that's a additional expense, but you will still at least break even on this house while taking away $200,000 out of this property. Now your upfront capital was $230. So you actually took out almost everything that you put in, and then you can use this $200,000 for your next project. Now these were the numbers if you are an investor, and again, do book a call from the description if you want to understand what would be best for you, and if you are looking to buy something like this, we have a team who is already in Kitchener, Waterloo, London. Wherever you want to buy, we will have a team for you who will do the renovations as well as buy you this house. And obviously we are mortgage agents, so we'll be able to refinance it and get you the mortgage and get you all started on this, because these are all numbers and we are really good as a team doing all this under one roof. Now if you're a first time home buyer, I have a fantastic new mortgage program that will just blow you away. So just hear me out. I know the video has been long and it is full with numbers. Let's say as a first time home buyer, you purchase this property at $500,000 and you're going to live in this property. Your down payment will be $25,000 in this case, which is 5%. Your closing cost will be again $10,000. I've just taken a little bit more, 2%. But yeah, if you're a first-time home buyer, you get land transfer tax benefit of $4,000. So your closing cost, let's say, is $10,000. You will be able, you would have to take a mortgage insurance because you're doing a less than 20% down. So that's $19,000. And your total loan amount will be $494,000. This is traditionally how mortgages work. And your equity in the house will be $6,000 only. Why? Because you purchase it for $500,000. You're only doing a minimum down payment. You're also paying mortgage insurance, which is paid upfront. So if you do $500,000 minus your down payment plus $19,000, you come at $494,000. So you only have $6,000 of equity in this house. The mortgage payment at this will be about 2943.84. Again, I've taken, pretty high numbers, 5.5, 6% interest rates. Right now the interest rates are lower, but let's take conservative estimates again. Tax, insurance, utilities, because you're living in the house, you are paying for your own utilities. Let's say that's around $700. So your monthly expenses for this particular house, if you were to buy it as a first-time home buyer, will be 3643.84. Now, as a first-time home buyer, you would probably not want to live in a house like this as is. So you would want to do the renovations. You would want to spend $100,000 that we talked about in the previous video, slide. And for that, you actually don't have to take your own money out. What we can do is we can get you a renovations loan of up to $100,000. So you obviously need to qualify for $500,000 plus $100,000. So overall, your qualification should be about $600,000 of house. So obviously it's subject to qualification, but we can get you that. The down payment would increase because now you're buying essentially a $600,000 house, $500,000 of purchase price plus $100,000 of renovations loan. So you need to do $35,000 down payment. It's as if you were buying a $600,000 house. The closing cost will roughly be the same, $10,000. The mortgage insurance will be $22,600 because now you're taking more loan. Your total loan will be about $587,600. Again, the same calculation: 500 plus 100, 600 minus down payment plus mortgage insurance comes to about 587. The mortgage payment on this one, because you're taking more loan, including the renovations loan. And by the way, the renovations loan is exactly at the same interest rate that you get the house at. So it's not at a higher interest rate or anything. It's just, at the same interest rate. So your mortgage payment will be about $3,500 on this one. Your tax plus insurance plus utilities will be about $700. And your rent from basement will be about $1,850. Let's say you get $1,600 even, but your overall monthly expenses, if you subtract rent from your mortgage payment, will be about $2,351. And this is a lot lower than your monthly expenses if you buy a $500,000 house where you do not actually do the renovations. And the beauty of all this is that you just have to spend $35,000 of down payment in an ideal scenario if you were to qualify for something like this. And you will still have equity of not $6,000 but $180,000. How? Because now you have renovated the unit. Yes, you have more loan on this particular house, $587,000, but also the house is now worth $770,000. So you have an equity that you just pulled, from renovating the unit of $180,000. I think this is a masterstroke. If I knew that this program existed, if I had a mortgage agent who was able to guide me around this program, and if I had a little bit more risk appetite, which I'm sure a lot of you there would have, I think this is an excellent way of house hacking your first home and not only improve your cash flow by renovating the unit and putting the basement on rent. So that's what a typical house hack is, but you also force equity into your first home, and you can always sell this home. Let's assume that you sell this particular home in the first scenario, you'll get nothing out of it because the penalties and everything will just take away all the equity because you don't have a lot of equity to start with. But in this particular case, if you were to sell the $770,000, sell the home for $770,000, or you wait another year and you sell it for $800,000, you actually stand to make a lot more money, and at the same time you did not have a lot of cash flow going out of the pocket while you were staying in the house. So I think the numbers are a little bit complicated, I understand, but if you want to book a call from the description, if you want a team, we have a team of renovators in Ontario, in Calgary, wherever you want to buy. These numbers can work in Calgary as well. You want realtors, we have properties which are, which we can actually assess with our architect and our, renovator, just to make sure that, the numbers would work just the way it has worked here. And if you have any questions on eligibility, obviously we have mortgage agents as well. If you book the call from the description, I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to set you up in a project like this. Obviously, these projects are very, few and not very common. Having said that, the connections that we have, and if we are a little bit patient in this market, I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to find something where we can profit.
Alright guys, that's all we have for today. I am not sure if we'll get this house. We are going to put an offer of about 500, less than 500, but we'll go up to all the way to 500, but there's a chance that it can go a little bit higher. But guys, we are always on the lookout, for these properties. We have Orco, we have Parth. They are part of Dream and Grow team which we are building, and Parth is an amazing individual. He knows everything about Kitchener. He has been a realtor for a while now, and he has, we have a lot of mutual clients. So if you have anything, reach out to us. Link is in the description, and we will get you a house, something like this. And we also have a team. So this, we are actually gonna buy with a person who is a friend and who also does renovations. So we have a full-fledged team who can actually do whatever it takes to make you money. That's all we have for today. मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए बाय बाय.